Good morning, class. I am Mrs. Hall, and I'm going to be your teacher today. We're going to learn about the rock cycle. Now, we're going to review the three types of rocks. You already know them. One is the metamorphic rock, and another one is the igneous, and the last one is the sedimentary. So, these three types of rocks are actually a byproduct of the sequence that the Earth does to process its crust. And that cycle is called the rock cycle. Now, the Earth recycles its crust in many ways. One is volcanoes, landslides, earthquakes, but today we're going to learn about the rock cycle. So I've already passed out two handouts and we're going to go over those. So the first one, we're just going to review your rocks, no problem. So what we have here is, at the top, is your metamorphic rock. This is a gneiss rock. So as you can see, the white crystals and the black crystals have lined up into layers. And this is because they're deep within the earth and the heat and pressure has moved them around. So down here on the bottom left is your igneous rock. It's not under heat or pressure, so the crystals get to grow and they stay random. And this is a diorite. So on the bottom right is a sandstone. That's a sedimentary rock. And as you can see, the sandstone has small, fine granules, and they've been glued together by cementation. And those are our three different types of rocks. And now we're going to start learning about the rock cycle. So pull out your second handout, and that'll be the stages of a rock cycle. You already know three of the stages, and that's your metamorphic rock, and your sedimentary rock, and your igneous rock. So there's only two other stages, which is the magma and the sediments. So now we're going to figure out how this all works. These are how our rocks are made. So if you take a sedimentary rock and an igneous rock, and you apply heat and pressure, it'll eventually turn into the metamorphic rock. Now, if you take all three of our rock types and you melt them, you'll get magma. So magma, when it cools and crystallizes underground or above ground, it's called an igneous rock. If it's underground, it is an intrusive igneous rock. And if it's above ground, it's an extrusive igneous rock. Now, if you take all three of our rock types and they get weathered and eroded and they turn into sediments, those sediments can eventually make something called our sedimentary rock. It's done by a process called lithification. Lithification is the action of compaction and cementation. So in other words, they get buried and they get cemented together into what we call a matrix. And as you can tell, this is a circle, but the rocks can go to any type of processing. So now that you know about the rock cycle, we can now explain that these three types of rocks are actually a byproduct of the Earth's sequences to recycle its crust in what we call the rock cycle. So our sedimentary rocks and our igneous rocks, they can make metamorphic rocks, and all three rocks can make magma, and magma can make igneous rock, and all three rocks can make sediments. So now you know what makes what, and you know what processes make each rock. So I want to thank you for being such a great class, and I'll see you next week for your test on the rock cycle.